The Washington Post is reporting a Texas man asking a district court in the Lone Star State to take legal action against his former partner.
That woman traveled to Colorado to get an abortion earlier this year, which is becoming more common. According to data from the CDC, nearly 20% of abortions done in-state last year were from patients from Texas. Colorado's so-called SHIELD law protects women and doctors who come here for the procedure. Now, though, it could face a legal challenge. Joining us to talk a little bit more about this is our 9 News legal analyst, Whitney Traylor. So we definitely need some background on this case. How did this evolve and how did we get here?
Right. So after the Dobbs decision and everything went back to the states in terms of abortion rights and things like that, went blank there for a second. A woman traveled here to Colorado to get an abortion, and the ex found out about it. Well, the Texas law has a 6-week abortion ban, but it also has a civil law that says any person can file a lawsuit against anyone else who may have gotten an abortion, and they actually encourage Texans to do that or support law enforcement. So right now, she's back in Texas. He has filed this petition and now is waiting for the court to decide whether or not he can go forward with the lawsuit and potentially depose her. Why this is relevant to Colorado is because if the procedure was performed here, in her deposition, it would be revealed who her doctor was and everything, and then they would try and come after the doctor, the receptionist. They could come after a number of people who abetted in the abortion.
So most people don't understand the law, much less other states' laws. So
Right.
let's talk about Texas law.
Yeah.
He would appear to be operating within some frame of Texas law, that this is within his rights to file this against her and theoretically those who provided the procedure for her. That is in their law right now?
That's in the law, and this law is so restrictive. I mean, it just encourages people, I think, to snoop and to distrust one another because you don't have to have much evidence.
But this is a civil case. What's he suing for?
Yeah. So here he's suing, and that's what some people are criticizing, that this is going to lead to a bunch of disgruntled exes who are trying to, and he's ultimately trying to sue for a wrongful death for the fetus, and so because this is a 6-week abortion ban, and so the law states that you can sue, and you can sue anyone who abets. So that could be the receptionist, friends, relatives, strangers who may provide medication or who helped you travel out here. So this is really first impression. We haven't had the legislature pass the law, but now we haven't had any courts interpret it. So that's why this is really going to be important.
But Colorado law would protect those who provided the service. In our state, what they did was entirely legal.
Right, that's exactly right. And what we did in the state, what Governor Polis signed a law, that the SHIELD law, which says, hey, if you get a subpoena, no subpoena will be enforceable for this kind of situation. So somebody from Texas or Florida or some of these other states that have serious abortion bans who say, hey, we're going to go after the people who performed it. Our law says, no, we're not going to honor those subpoenas. So why this really creates an issue is because now you have the states, which state law, supersedes each other. And we have in the Constitution something called the full faith and credit clause, which says, hey, we'll honor orders from other states. So every state should honor each other states. But there's exceptions. So that's why this is going to be such a legal battle.
So who decides it then?
Right. So first, he'll have to convince a Texas judge that he can go forward with it, and I suspect he will be able to. Now, during her deposition or whatever, will he get information about the doctors here? The second step would then be to come after folks here in Colorado, and that's where the issue comes in. Will anybody honor a subpoena? Because they'll have to subpoena them here to either testify or to provide documentation. And so here the courts are going to probably block that because of the SHIELD law. It will then go to an appellate court, and then we'll actually have binding law. So right now it's unknown, and this is happening all over the country. There's lots of states that have SHIELD laws, and there are lots of states that have, abortion bans.
It's complicated, and trying to cover it in 3 or 4 minutes is difficult, but very enlightening, the discussion to kind of get a better handle on what's
Because we're going to be hearing more about it.
Yes, for sure. Especially as it goes up the appellate courts, we'll know what the law will be.
All right, Whitney.
All right.
Thanks as always. Good to see you.